Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to The Real for Real. Hey, for anyone who is just tuning in with us for the first time, we appreciate you guys checking us out. Thank you so much. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and even hit the bell so you get notified whenever we got new posts. And for all our loyal followers, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for continuing to tune in. So today we've got to talk about a big one. I know Kevin's excited about it. He's super excited about it. Well,
I was excited about it.
Exactly. I'm about to say we talked a little bit. He was excited about going to see it. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't even want to watch it to start. So we're gonna talk about
you didn't want to watch it. Well, we got to start it off with this. You didn't want to watch it to start because you had not seen The Sopranos.
Oh my Lord!
I told Isaiah, I told Isaiah from the beginning. I said back in April and May, I said at least watch one season of The Sopranos to see if you like it.
Hold on.
Did he do that?
Yep. Look at this.
Did he do that?
Did he
do that? No, he didn't do that.
If you're confused on what we're talking about, we are definitely talking about the many saints of Newark.
What do you want, Richard?
I'll be honest with you.
I want money.
I want to do a good deed.
I want to do a lot more.
The best things in life are free.
I try to set an example for my nephew.
Give them to the birds and bees. I want money.
Anthony got kicked out of school. I went through all that trouble, and for what?
I'm always being accused.
You gotta be good.
That's what I want.
I want to.
We are talking about the many saints of Newark today.
But this is the prequel to The Sopranos.
It is the prequel to The Sopranos. You were right.
So in order for you to really appreciate what's happening,
my
you
Lord.
gotta see The Sopranos. But we'll talk about it.
You know
We'll
what?
talk
You know
about
what? Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't get a chance to see it. Y'all know I have not seen The Sopranos yet. I haven't. However,
So really, his opinion of this shouldn't matter. Basically.
See, you know what? Ain't it funny how when you be fooling with folks that you done known for a while, but when they learn something new or they come up on something, all of a sudden they just too good. That man just watched The Sopranos in April.
You had months. You had almost a year to watch one season.
My man. Time out.
Get it.
You ain't better than me. You ain't better than me. Talking about I had months. We both had years. The Sopranos dropped in what, 99?
It was 99. I would have been 9 years old at the time. I would not have appreciated it to the level that it needs appreciation. So
don't try that. Don't try to play us like that.
All right, that's fine.
You
Long
can't play
story
me
short,
at
he
home.
ain't seen the show.
I haven't seen the show.
So take his opinions for a grain of salt.
Yeah, if you want to take it with a grain of salt, that's fine. Yeah. I think it's still, I think it's still valid opinions. All right, so let's hit it. Let's hit it. Let's get into it. What was your first thought? What was your first thought?
Well, first, I just got to say rest in peace to James Gandolfini, who plays Tony. I got to give a shout out to the creator, David Chase. And I just have to say The Sopranos was 6 seasons strong. One of the most influential and groundbreaking shows to ever be invented that people hold dearly. I'm a fan of the show. I watched it like earlier this year, finished it up a couple months ago for the first time.
Go ahead and specify earlier this year.
Exactly. Because I knew this movie. I knew this movie was coming out, and I said, I got to watch the show. Like, I got to really watch the show. And I love it. I'm a fan of it. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of this movie. I'm not a fan of it. I was not blown away. I do want to talk about the positives, though, because technically this is I think it's a well-made movie, production-wise, right? But it just doesn't give us what we were looking for. Isaiah,
I'm a disagree.
Had no expectations. He had no expectations.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to say it like straight up with no expectations. My first thoughts.
Yeah.
Movie was fun. Like, in fact, I was able to grasp it and understand it as, I was able to hang on to it and catch on and follow without having had any background knowledge. I think I've only seen the one episode I watched with you.
Yeah, so that's the one episode
I watched. The one episode I watched with you. But I mean, I felt like it held its own. So to me, it clearly is. It felt like it's supposed to establish something as its own little standalone feature. It felt like that. It had references to characters that are that are in the show. It seemed like, but it definitely felt very standalone. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. This movie is gonna be very forgettable. It's not gonna have the impact that The Sopranos had. The Sopranos is something that people can watch today and enjoy. This movie 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember it. And that's just what it is. This is not going to be top 20. This is not going to be a top 20 mafia movie.
I'll agree with that.
This is not even going to make a top 50 mafia movie. This is just something that was made, and it is what it is. But we'll talk about it. Before I just start talking about this movie in a negative light, let's get into the positives first. So, Isaiah, I want to see what your positive is for this movie, you being the person that has not watched The Sopranos.
Time out, partner. Did you just say my positive as if it's only one thing I got? Dang, is that how you feel?
oh, you saying I should have made that plural. My bad. Okay, go ahead, then. Go ahead, brother.
My boy definitely came with a singular positive. Ooh, shots all the way fired. That boy pulled the shotty out.
Go ahead, then. I have positives for this movie, but it's just
there's
a lot more negatives.
You sure?
There's a lot more. I got multiple. I got a couple. Go ahead.
All right. So if I'm starting it off, I got to say one of the first things I thought that was good was the performances, of course. I thought the performances were great.
I think it was legit.
I can't remember the actor's name who played Dickie, but man, like, you know, I hadn't seen him since Jurassic Park 3.
Jurassic Park number 3.
Yeah, I was like, it was Jurassic Park 3 was the last time I remember seeing him in a lead role.
Right.
He's played some. I've seen him in some side spots, but no, in the head of the film, like instantly, I was like, I think that was part of the reason initially that I was like, yo, I don't think I want to watch this one. I'm not really, I'm not super excited to initially, but I thought he carried the film well. Leslie Odom Jr. did well too as Harold. Like that was really, I thought that was a really good performance.
It was good.
Also, who is it? This your girl from The Conjuring, Vera Farmiga.
Oh, Vera Farmiga. Yes, she did a really good job. That's what I wanted to say. Yes, she did a really good job of playing Olivia. Mm-hmm. I felt like she really showed you why her and Tony struggled, right? Seeing the early days of Olivia. So I like that. For me, man, I think the Sopranos lore was there. Like when Junior says he never had the makings of a varsity athlete, like that's definitely a callback to the Sopranos, which I enjoyed.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, baby Christopher crying when Tony's like trying to hold him, and a family member, I think it was that old lady, she was like, when babies come into this world, they can always see the other side.
Tell myself his son.
Hi, Christopher. Hello.
Okay, all right.
It's like a scam or something.
Some babies, when they come into the world, know all kinds of things from the other side.
And so that really does a really good job of playing on how Christopher and Tony didn't really have a good relationship, right? Like there's tension there. Like they have they're close, but there's definitely tension with them. And
I'm definitely
Tony ends up being the one that kills Christopher. So, I guess, I can spoil that for you because you ain't going to get to the show at any point anyway.
There you go. Still throwing shade for somebody who just saw it this year too. Ain't such thing as spoilers for something that's been out 10 years, 10 plus years. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I still was able to pick up on that too. Like, I'm glad to hear you confirm that there was like a trouble between the two of them, because definitely when that scene came up and the old lady's mentioning it, I'm like, yeah, this sound like this line
you
definitely
could tell
seems
it's a
like,
reference to something,
yeah,
right?
it
Like,
sounds like
something's gonna happen.
It's giving that reference. So I was like, this must have something to do later on down the road. So that made
also
sense.
the twist of who kills Dickie was interesting. So in The Sopranos, it's always been under the idea that a cop did it, and that's what Tony tells Chris, and Chris kills the cop. So it's just like, dang. So like, Junior killed Dickie.
Yeah, I was gonna say like some of the twists in the movie, like that specifically works out really well.
You thought that worked out well? Huh.
I mean, I thought it did. I thought the way that twist played out was, I didn't see it leading to that level. You know what I'm saying? Like to find out that
that was
Junior that does it.
That's a positive and a negative for me. I'll just say that.
All right.
But
so at least from a
positive standpoint, it's like from a positive standpoint, it's didn't see that coming. So yeah, for sure. Like you said, the performances, man. You forgot to shout out Ray Liotta, man. Of course.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Playing two roles, playing Hollywood Dickie and playing a twin brother.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Like, cause for a second I was all thrown off when he walks in as the twin. I was like, Y'all didn't just release a whole movie and not catch that error, right? I mean, granted, because I got
that
no
threw me
background.
off for a second. I was like, oh, okay, twin brother, okay. But see, the movie doesn't even do that great, but like, you really can watch them. Like, if you don't pay attention, you can really watch the whole movie thinking that's a dream. You realize that, right?
No, I ain't never feel that way. How you figure?
No, I'm just saying though, because like they introduce him so quick as being the twin. So if you did not like catch on, like to like, let's say you walk away for a second and then you come back and you see him on screen, you're gonna think that's him or it's a dream or something. Like I don't know, whatever.
I ain't feel that way. I never made that connection at all. I mean, who knows? Sometimes,
no, I'm just saying. Well, whatever. I mean, somebody actually called me and asked me, was that his twin the whole time? So that's why I was like,
and that's what I'm saying. Okay. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I never connected the way you did, but I'm like, I get what you're saying. Like, it could have been like initially seeing it was confusing. You like,
right?
Wait, what?
That's because somebody called me and asked me that was that his twin the whole time. But
that's
yeah. Anyways, performance is good. Johnny Boy Soprano, man, getting arrested outside of the fair. That was a pretty cool callback because in the show, Tony.
Oh, that's from the show too. Okay.
Yeah, because in the show, Tony sneaks in the truck because they take Janice to the state fair and they end up conducting business. Then they get arrested. Tony is sneaking there in the trunk because he's like, wait, well, why are they taking Janice and I'm not going?
Dang, my boy had to hide in the trunk.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's so that was cool to see. Then Janice sees him and bam. So I like that callback as well. And we also got some strong black characters to this movie. Wow, The Sopranos have never done that before, so that was different. All The Sopranos gave us was Bokeem Woodbine for like an episode. So, and I wouldn't say he was a strong black character. He was just black dude in the show. So that was pretty cool that we got Harold, and Harold was really outshining all the Italians in this movie. Boy.
Oh yeah. His role in it was pretty solid.
Yeah, that was something. I was very surprised that Chase decided to go that route with this movie. Very surprised. Silvio, I'm glad that they kind of made fun of his wig a little bit. They kind of poked fun at it.
What?
If you got because everybody knew that Silvio wore a wig, but it just was like, we need that confirmation. There it is. Yeah.
It was too funny to me. Like not knowing the lore from the TV show, but when Player was like, when Homeboy gets up after having his teeth knocked out with the drill.
Yeah. What did you think about that torture scene, by the way? Did you think that torture scene was pretty legit or what?
I thought it was interesting. It was definitely interesting. I thought it was cool, but I think they could have done more with it. Like coming from movies like Casino and stuff like that, where you got more violent scenes. I just felt like it was it felt tame. If that makes sense.
I might as well just go ahead and start with negatives.
No, I still got some pot.
You got pot? Oh, my bad. I
still got some. Remember,
my
plural,
bad. Okay. All right.
Plural.
All right.
You gave me one. I got a couple more.
Go ahead then. Go
ahead.
But
that was a good scene. And then when two players like
that's a weak torture scene, by the way.
Sitting there. Yeah. I didn't think it was the most thrilling torture scene, but that's all right. I will say though, I thought the story writing was really good. I did like the use of the setting being the Newark riots. I thought that was now granted.
Oh, you like that? Okay.
I did. I think it set up a nice kind of symbolism to. What you? Never mind. We'll let you get to yours in a minute.
No, go ahead.
But I'm gonna be real. Like I thought it set up a nice symbolism between the brewing beef between the African Americans who were in that mob life or in that crime life in general. Specifically Harold's crew, and then of course the Italians, the crime family that Dickie's with. I think it was a cool little, almost symbolic riff. As the city's tearing apart, so is the relationship between Dickie and Harold. Like at one point in the movie, I thought I'm almost positive. I remember them making a reference to Dickie and Harold being in school together.
They did, yeah. They made a reference to that.
They make this reference. You got these two people who are friends and even somehow or another wound up in business together. But there's also this there's clearly this view of we Italians are better than these black guys are.
Right.
And that's causing some, and on top of the riffs of having, some of the numbers money coming up short and this, that, and the other, it's causing this big time drama that eventually kind of plays out over the course of the movie. But I thought that was a cool little, like the setting and the way that they wrote that story against itself kind of works out. And then my last positive would be definitely the character development that went into Dickie. You know, I think Dickie's character development.
So you like this character development? Okay, that's good.
I do. I think it's done really, really well.
Because I looked at that the other way. I think I'm actually not surprised that you said that, because if you don't know anything about The Sopranos, then you think his story's well done. But it leads me to more questions. Like, I see this movie and I'm like, huh. But that's my negatives.
Well, I'll say, I don't think it's spoon-fed. I don't think it's like handed, spoon-fed to us about all his decision-making and how he feels 100%. But I think that the way that we see that he's a little more conflicted a gentleman than we may believe.
Well, Tony was conflicted as well, but it's just,
and that's what, and so the little bit I do know about the Sopranos deals with, Tony Soprano, this mob boss who is going to go see a shrink. He's going to go see. Sorry if that is the right term.
Isaiah, spare us on the plot, sir, with your non-watching self. Spare us on the plot. Get back to your positive.
Hey, somebody come get your boy. Somebody come get your boy for real. Like if he was in the room right now, it might have been hands. It might have been hands. No,
spare us on the plot.
No. Chill. Like, think about it. I think and I'm talking basics. I'm not going into big details. Is Tony Soprano not a gentleman who is going to a head shrink to try to work out his issues?
Yes.
To try to be a little better. So he's working on, and how do you not see, like, I think the development is there because we see that same bit in Dickie. And so it makes sense as to why, like, for me, as someone who's not seen it, it makes sense why we have this show based around that premise from watching Dickie. That's me. The way he connects with Tony, telling him to do the right thing while also being still a wise guy. Like, the speaker scene. Great scene.
No, that's a good scene. That's a good scene.
Dickie
I like
goes
that
to
scene.
give him those speakers, trying to, do something nice because he wants to be this father figure.
I like that scene.
He's all about it. And he's like, hey, man, come and get these speakers. And Tony looks at him and says, nah, player, I can't really take those. I mean, I'm trying to go to college. I'm trying to go straight. I want to be this athlete. Like, this works. Yeah. And then, like, even.
But remember, he never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
Oh, well, I get that that's a reference now, but I'm just saying. But like when Dickie goes and says, like, even a cool way of, again, showing that conflictedness there, right? He wants to do a nice thing for his nephew, or his nephew here, quote unquote. His nephew.
Somehow I knew you would love that scene too. It's a good scene.
But it shows the dichotomy because he tells him, hey man, if you want to go straight, that's all good.
Yeah.
And he I think he means it. Like, he does mean it. Do better.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm ready to get into my negatives. You done with your positives?
Oh, so you're just gonna cut play.
You getting all philosophical over there. I'm like, dang, ooh, the speaker scene was good, but dang, I ain't like, woo, you getting
that's how I see it. That's how
but
I
you
see
are.
it.
I mean, romance is your thing though, so you are able to drop the emotional connection of a speaker scene. Wow, that's brilliant. Philosophical over here. So can I get on with my negatives now?
Go ahead. Hit your negatives. Hit your negatives, bro.
So you liked the riots, right? You thought that. I personally didn't think that the riots went anywhere. I thought Belmont Avenue looting and rioting. I didn't see that going anywhere. But I remember I told you, I called you, and I told you I didn't really care for the movie, and I said something about that, and you gave me an interesting perspective, and I never looked at it this way. It's still going to be on my negatives, though. I don't care. But you said that actually makes sense that there was racial tension as far as, the Sopranos and the Mayo crime family, as far as them being racist or whatever, or, feeling some kind of way about Black people. Because look at what was happening in Newark back in that era. And I was like, that makes sense.
It just lines up. It's a good symbol. It's just a symbol.
That makes sense.
And think about it. Like, what mob movie have you ever seen? Like, any mob movie I've ever seen, when they reference Black people, it doesn't matter. They always reference them in a negative light.
Oh yeah, it's always a negative light.
It just works as a good set piece when you got.
But I just felt like for this specific movie, these riots weren't going anywhere. So that's how I felt about that. Also,
maybe you should
Silvio,
get a little more philosophical then, brother.
I guess
That's all I'm
so.
saying.
Maybe I need
Get
to
a
watch some
little
more
more
romance movies.
since you want to
Maybe I
come at
need
me about it. Oh, the romance? No. You just got to expand your mind.
I guess
Let me
so.
give me my hotep.
What is high? What is higher? I need to
My
get like
hotep.
that. But I mean, as far as Silvio, man, this has always been a debate, and I don't know what the real answer is. But from the Sopranos show, Silvio is a little bit older than Tony, but Tony's in high school, and Silvio is like a bald head, 30-some-year-old guy. I just don't feel like I feel like the writing for this was off. It just didn't seem right. I feel like that Silvio should have been closer to Tony's age. That's what everybody knows from watching the show. So I feel like that was displayed wrong. Also, Silvio, I feel like the guy that played him, that was a joke. He had some of the gestures down, but it felt very forced. And I think that guy should have taken some acting classes and really perfected Silvio's role or his character, because I don't feel like he did that.
What?
And everybody, I mean, I can't be the only one that felt that way about Silvio. I know there has to be other people out there. So if you feel that way, leave your comments. If I'm tripping, let me know. But Silvio, that was forced. Paulie looked way younger than he should have been. Paulie should have been older. And also Paulie was underutilized. Paulie he had a couple things that he said, but Paulie
you saying Paulie was underutilized?
Paulie is a great character of The Sopranos.
That's great, but the movie ain't about Paulie.
No, it doesn't matter. You still gotta have him say some stuff.
What?
You still gotta have him say some stuff.
No. You don't have.
You still gotta have him say some stuff.
Batman.
Don't
Batman ain't about. No. You cut me smooth off on mine, so you could go ahead and take this work. Take this work right quick.
Go ahead.
But Batman can't have. Can't have Robin be all of a sudden the star of the show.
All right.
The movie
so
was
fine.
about.
Paulie can have 3 lines. Sorry, he had 3 lines. He had his 3 lines.
You say underutilized. What?
See, he was underutilized. The advertising for this movie was just all wrong.
I agree there. I do agree there, because that leads to one of my negatives too.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you expand on that. But this advertising was wrong.
You're right, because one of my biggest things, like though I said that the character development for Dickie is strong, the relationship development between him and Tony, I feel is scantily placed in there. It doesn't like outside of that speaker scene, that makes some sense there. And the one other scene when he's like 10 years old and they talking in the room.
And the young Tony Soprano is doing such a good job.
Yeah.
And you give this teenager 15 minutes of screen time all together.
I think both Tonys got about 15 minutes worth of screen time.
I'm like, wow.
Like the 10-year-old one seems to have a total of about 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, the 17 or 18-year-old one. But yeah, you're right. It all comes down to the way they advertise it. They sold it like the movie was, and I think this is to be honest, this is where I feel like a lot of people who may have seen the show got bait and switched, because it looked like they wrapped it up like it's going to be the formation.
They did
of Tony Soprano. That's not what this was about.
But I had a feeling they weren't going to use him as much as we thought, because I knew that the primary focus was going to be Dickie. I knew that.
Yeah.
But I was just like, dang, this young Tony's doing such a good job. And I would have loved to see, hey, how did he get influence into possibly becoming what he becomes, right?
And right.
You don't get a clear enough pass off.
Yeah, I don't
influence.
I see influence in terms of like his inner workings, right? But I don't think we see enough of the influence as to what I haven't seen them together enough on screen.
No.
to really warrant that when Dickie dies, for me to be like, Tony's gonna want to step in his shoes at that point.
What they did? You know what Chase decided to do?
What's that?
As Dickie's in the casket, right? Then we get the pinkies.
To reference.
And then we get the song from The Sopranos, the intro.
But I'm like,
and that's supposed to tell us this is how he becomes Tony.
I mean, it does in just like we needed to tie this knot. But yeah, you're right. There's not. I would have trouble believing. I would have a lot of trouble believing that the kid Tony would just immediately become a wise guy when he'd been trying.
He wouldn't even take no speakers, bro. He wouldn't even take no hot speakers.
And that's what I'm saying. Like there needed to be a little more. Like, unfortunately, they set it up to where Dickie's about to bring him into the game, but I'm like, right now, Tony has done some. Like, we do know he's done some mischief because that's what most of the screen time that we see him doing is like little, mischievous things. But I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like taking the ice cream truck, I guess. Yeah, you know, what like doing just doing some teenager stuff, like some dumb, like little thing, but not enough for me to say, oh, now that my Uncle Dickie's dead, I'm definitely finna become that dude. I'm finna take. Hey, I tell you what, why not have him? Connection. Why not have young Tony maybe witness a murder one day? Why not have him witness something on accident? You know, like kind of like Road to Perdition, where the son sees something he's not supposed to see. And then you think like, oh, wow. And then maybe he's getting all these thoughts about, well, maybe this is how my life is going to be one day. Like just something. So for me, it wouldn't have been so much a matter of him witnessing a murder, because to me, I believe that could possibly create more rift there. But I think I like where your head is at, though. Like I would say player needs to be like, let's say that he does some stuff that's actually a little bigger than little mischief stuff. Right. And it's Dickie who gets him off on it. Mm-hmm. You know, who gets him off on it. And then they keep it as this little budding secret. But then now that he knows that there's some dirt on him, he slides him into a couple other little things. I need you to go run this for me. Do this, that, and the other. While also trying to convince him, like, but you can be a better person than the rest of us. But Dickie's own mistakes keep sliding into his need to be a good parent, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I thought about something else too. What's that? Young Tony in the Sopranos show witnesses Johnny Boy beating up some dude. Man, that would have been nice to have this just so we can understand how Tony gets to being Tony. Like, see, it makes a better connection. It just makes a better connection. But I'll get off of that though. I'll get off of that. But as you can see, I didn't know that beforehand. But I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the death of Dickie doesn't seem like enough based on what I saw to say that Tony's going to be like, it's time to join the family business. Dickie seems like he's doing all his stuff low key though. Like, I mean, how is he? I mean, is Dickie even that bad? I mean, is he that bad? He kills his dad, who's an abuser. But that's what I mean, and that's what I mean when I said, and that's what I mean when I said his development is good. His individual development is, because he seems to he's a wise guy, but he's trying to do what he feels is the right maneuver in a sense. Like, don't get me wrong, he was still crushing on his so-called, like, his stepmama too. Like, that was totally foul. Hey, to be fair, it was fair game because she hit on him first. But go ahead. Regardless, I don't feel it's fair game. That ain't how I live my life. That's not how you do it. If you know somebody taking you, chick chose me, brother. Your chick chose me. Gonna go Outcast and Outcast with Bun B and Pimp C. I choose you. Hey, I'm telling you. But nah, like, I mean, I gotta be like, just for me, that he's, despite the fact that he's trying to hit on his on his new stepmom, he is kind of trying to rectify things every time as he goes through, right? Like, he kills his dad because his dad beat on his mom and him. He tries to let Harold off out of the fact that, like, yo, Harold, I know you slipping right now. However, I don't want to kill you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to do that. I don't want you to owe me anything. We've got that. Like, he's trying to be a good friend in that situation. He does try to be a good role model to. Which is actually, that reminded me a lot of Tony right there, because Tony's pretty diplomatic as well. Yeah, like he's trying. He doesn't really react. He doesn't react off emotion like that. So see, he's a very rational kind of guy. So that's fair. Like, I think that's all fair. He tries to even be a better wife. I mean, sorry, not wife. He tries to be better to his wife than he saw his dad do. Like, he does. But every time he still went, like, and I think that's where the cool thing about his uncle, who's in jail, shows him. His uncle is another good character piece, because he's like, he's where Dickie was headed anyway. Right. Yeah. He's like, exactly. You could try to do the right thing, but that just ain't in you. You're bound to be crap. That's why he tells him, you want to do a favor to your family and to Tony and the rest of them, leave them alone, because you screwed. So I thought
I'm a transition over to another negative real quick.
Go for it. I just thought that was interesting though.
No, that was. I just don't really the Frank Lucas reference. So as we start going into the black characters of this movie,
hit it.
That was just, to me, it was too much.
Unnecessary.
I feel like Chase was doing a little bit too much with that.
Unnecessary.
And then we got the coat on that we see, like, just the Frank Lucas stuff was just a little bit too much.
It just wasn't necessary.
It just wasn't necessary, really. It wasn't necessary. And man, dude, the DeMille crime family, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. DeMille crime family, they just seem weak to me in this movie overall. They just seem really weak. Harold is the guy. You got the black dude taking over, which that could be a positive, actually.
Oh boy,
I'm actually okay with that. Like, it's a negative, but for me, I'm like, hey, if that's how y'all want to go, then that's how y'all want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Black Godfather.
Like, if that's how y'all want to go. But I'm just like, all right. So just tell me if this makes sense. Harold kills one of their people outside of a grocery store.
He does.
He kills a maid guy in a drive-by shooting.
He does.
He's walking down the street with a guy with a shotgun with no resistance. He disrespects Polly at their own bar.
Hold on. Time out.
No.
Technically,
Polly disrespects. Polly says something. But Polly says something racist first. Harold fires back. But Polly, if you know Polly from Sopranos, Polly would just, like, that's just Polly, right? Like, if you gonna come back like that, black dude talking to me like that, I'm about to just, like, that's just what Polly would do.
Yes.
But I'm just like, so you could disrespect boys, hit the bar, get the money. I need 1,000. No, I'll give you 3,000. You know, just like, come on, bro. Like, it's kind of funny to me, and it's just like the Sopranos, they just look weak. You got Uncle Junior falling outside the funeral when it's raining.
Bro, like, and that's one of them hard things. Like, yes, the twist is good, but at the same time, the way that it comes off, because we don't see a lot of Junior throughout it, but when you do, it seems like it definitely seems like he's cool with his role for the most, or at least is all right with the role. He may not be
very subtle. You have to pay attention.
Yeah, and even like the way that they dig at him, but then when he slipped and fell and busted his tail, and just all of a sudden is like infuriated with Dickie for laughing. I'm like, bro, anybody would have laughed at your tail busted.
But did you notice something about that scene? No, Dickie was the only one laughing.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Dickie was the only one laughing. Everybody else, but like Junior's wife was kind of like looking at him like, oh my gosh. But then but Dickie was like dying laughing, and Junior like kind of was looking like really, like he laughing at me. But I'm just like, dude, like y'all just looking weak.
Yeah, that is a solid weak moment.
Y'all just look weak. Like I would have rather chased like maybe something else embarrassing happened to him, but I'm just like.
I thought it did its purpose, but I will say
it did its purpose. But and also in the movie, like if you're not paying attention, it almost makes it look like he was laughing at me at the funeral. I'm gonna kill him now.
That's exactly, and that's what I'm about to say. Because I watched,
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I watched it twice, and the first time I hadn't noticed. They were trying to show that like Dickie apparently is always well, technically he clearly has the one up.
It's a jealousy thing, because remember when Olivia was she saying somebody needs to talk to Tony, and Junior's like, I'll go talk to him. Oh no, that's okay. He doesn't really understand you.
Right.
Like I was like, because I watched it twice just like you, because remember I wanted to like this movie more.
Yeah.
And I ended up, I'm like, I feel the same. But anyways, I was like, okay, so that was strike one. And then just like number two, like remember when Johnny Boy was in the car and he was like, oh, look who moved over here. Look who moved over here. Oh, so you mean to tell me, look how Dickie's taking care of things. He's only been in this position for a month, and you've been here and you couldn't do nothing. Like,
and that's what I mean. Like it definitely looks like Dickie is just getting shot for watching him fall. I don't think that they did a good enough job of showing enough actual tension between the two of them.
You should, make it make more sense.
We hear it from other people that Dickie is in that position, but you never see a big enough reaction.
No.
In those moments to really, to feel like he should hate Dickie. Now, it doesn't make sense after once you finally get to that point, you're like, oh yeah, there was a lot of things that overshadowed Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't initially look that way. On the second watch, that's when I realized, oh, so he is kind of getting overshadowed a little more by specifically Dickie. I wasn't paying attention to the dialogue.
You see how close attention you have to pay for that?
Yeah, I did have to. I had to. It got me the first time. I didn't catch it.
But it's like, but dude, it's. I don't know if I like that about that.
No, that's fair. In fact, now I'm on your side about that being a plus and a negative. You're right, because
it's like
it didn't get spelled out the way it should have.
And Junior's character he has such a big role in The Sopranos. And I just feel like so one good thing is the guy who played Junior, he had his voice down. I'm talking about he had his voice down pat. I was like, dang, that sounds like Junior. But I was just like, dang, like his character is so much more than that, I swear. Yeah. Like, I'm like, dang, like as many little scenes as you put him in, make his personality come out more. Junior's a funny dude. Junior's gangster. Well, like Junior gets down, like I'm like.
Well, I will say
I'm wondering, like but I guess it makes sense. Because Junior tried to kill Tony.
So see, I didn't know that from the
Junior is the first season of the first like 2-3 seasons of Sopranos. Like Junior's gangster, bro. Like he's gangster. Like he gets down.
That would make some sense to me. Like, don't get me wrong, that makes some sense now. Like, because especially given the way we just saw it in the mini scenes in Newark, right? If he was agitated enough with Dickie, and Dickie seems to be like the one that Tony looked up to the most, I imagine there's going to be a little bit of Dickie in Tony that Junior just can't sit well with.
Takes it out on him.
He's going to take it out, and so that makes some sense. I don't know, man. What you think? So hold on, what you think of rating wise?
Well, I wanted to say something else about Dickie.
Oh, go ahead, hit it.
I know you like his character and how well developed it was.
I thought it was good.
And I think his acting was great, but I need to know, why is he this made guy? Why is he loved? Why is he feared? Why is he respected? I need to see a little bit more of why is he the guy that, that's Dickie. Hold on, that's Dickie.
Okay.
Like, I didn't get any of that in this. And every single mafia movie that I watch, from every character from The Godfather, every character from Goodfellas, every single mafia movie, I know exactly why these people get the respect and why people are loyal to them the way they are. I don't know that about Dickie after watching this. I don't know why he's the way. I mean, I just know that, his story's straight. It's actually a pretty good story. But why is he this made guy that everybody's like, why?
So
that's not answered in this movie.
So I am going to agree with part of your statement. I agree that it is not answered. It doesn't really get addressed. We don't see him do too much. We don't see him do what we typically see in mobster movies, right? We usually see mobsters killing folks. He doesn't do very much of that. He tortures old boy. He tortures old boy from Harold's unit, but that's about it. Like that's the hardest we see him. And in general, the movie is kind of lacking in terms of other mob movies when it comes to the violence factor, when it comes to the the thrills and stuff that you usually get. The shootout, it's just it's not really there. Even the shootout that they have in the street outside the club or whatever it is doesn't come off to me as
it's not
the
exciting.
Most thrilling. Yeah, it's not super. It has one moment that I think is a little pressured, and that's when Dickie's in the the back room, and Harold's supposedly coming. He knows Harold's coming through the bar. And shoots, but then he doesn't shoot him,
and then he goes away.
He lets him off. And so that's there, but
Dickie's such a nice guy. Such a nice guy.
He's just conflicted. Yeah, he is, and it's conflicted to the point that's there. But I will say, I don't think that was the goal of the movie, though. That's the part where I disagree with you. I think the reason it's like that is because they're just trying to get us to. I think they're more so trying to show the emotional and mental, where how he was as a person.
Oh, no, I get that. I get it. After the second watch, I picked up on that. I think after the first watch, I was just like,
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then the second watch, I understand the emotional part, right?
Yeah, I think that's
the mental space of this. This is more emotionally driven and mentally driven. This is not really. It's just not fun, man.
Yeah. It's kind of outside of the. It's outside of the wheelhouse. A little bit of a mob.
But you know why Sopranos is the way it is because it has all of that. Everything that you named plus exciting.
Yeah, it contains. Well,
it has everything.
And you can do that in 6 seasons. I don't know if that's what they were going
and
for.
that's the other negative. This should have been a mini-series. This movie, think about this,
Okay.
Isaiah. Most mob movies are 2.5 hours. The good ones are 3. All right, the really, really good ones. Unless you're talking about Donnie Brasco, that's like 2, maybe 2:15. But that Donnie Brasco is light years better than this. This ain't even close. Like Donnie Brasco's great. So this should have been a 3-hour movie. If you're gonna do a movie, make it 3 hours. Like the third act of this movie is rushed. It's rushed. Like you have to. I tell you what, think about this movie. You haven't seen it, but Once Upon a Time in America is some of the best storytelling that you'll get from these kind of movies. I know everybody loves talking about The Godfather, but Once Upon a Time in America is a 4-hour movie, and it's great storytelling. And I know how you feel about those kind, because I know you were giving Snyder crap for Justice League, but that's Justice League. This is great storytelling, and sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you have to do that. Think about this. Sopranos fans are going to sit down for 4 hours and watch this prequel. I'm not saying it has to be 4 hours, but it's got to be 3. You can't do 2. You can't do that for this kind of movie. If you ain't going to do a mini series, you got to get to 3 hours, period.
Man, I'm a disagree.
That's what you got to do.
Given the goal that they put out there, I think they did fine. I think they did just fine with the amount of time they got.
Well, I know you did, because you ain't watching Sopranos, which is why everybody's going to say, at the end of the day, Isaiah's opinion doesn't matter on this episode.
Man, bump all that.
I'm just kidding.
Bump all that. Y'all can say it if you want to. You can feel that way. My opinion more valid, I think, than some of the people who watched it, because y'all went in there jaded. Y'all went into it jaded.
You asked me for my score, though, right?
What's your score?
My score for this movie is 65%. 65%. It's a solid 65% movie. Now, it's interesting because usually mafia movies for me, they always get 90% for me. Like they always are just 90% and above for me. This one is just not going to, even though I watched this movie twice, I'm going to be honest with you, unless they make a sequel for this movie, because this movie needs a sequel. And I don't like that they set up Harold like he's possibly going to be in a sequel or something. I don't like that they did that. If they don't have a sequel to this movie, I'm not ever going back to this movie again. I'm not going to waste my time with this. I don't. Okay. It's not. I saw it. There's nothing else to see. There's no excitement. Now the reason why it's getting 65% is because cinematically, how well shot this movie was, and some of the storytelling, even though there's some things that are just kind of randomly thrown in there, like riots and stuff like that, which whatever.
Still saying random. I don't think it was random, but all right.
That's fine. I guess I just didn't care to see that, bro.
That's fair.
Yeah, storytelling I think is okay if you're not looking for Sopranos lore, right? So
yeah. Okay, fine. So you got 65. I agree with you that usually I'm a big mob movie fan, so I usually would throw them up there, and then I don't think I've got one that I can think of that's under 85. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they're high B's. This one, I will say though, though I like so much of the storytelling, this and another, it's barely a B for me because it doesn't have the thrill elements that the other ones have.
What you mean barely a B?
I give it an 80. It's right at an 80 for me.
Wow, that's a good score.
Yeah, because I think the storytelling, it's compelling. It just doesn't have all the bells and whistles. I mean, if you caught me, if I watch, would I say I'm going to go back to this a lot? No. Like,
you ain't going back to this movie again unless it's on TNT.
Incorrect. I will probably go back. I will go back to it. Remember, I haven't seen The Sopranos yet, so I will probably go back to it. I know how you are with procrastination, brother. You ain't about to watch The Sopranos anytime soon, and you for doggone show ain't about to watch this again. Hey, I'm gonna get to The Sopranos. Like I should probably hit it by about 2025. Like I should be here by that time.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
But yeah, I would say. On the good
this
side,
is a very forgettable. This is a very disappointing movie. Honestly, 65% is me being very generous, and I want everybody to know that there's just really nothing special about this movie at all. There's nothing special about it. I feel like David Chase dropped the ball on it, but because I'm taking my biases out of it, this is a 65% movie.
All right, he says 65. I'm saying 80. I think it is.
This doesn't make my top 20. Is this considered a mafia movie? I guess it has to be.
I mean, it is.
It's the prequel, The Sopranos.
It's just a little different than.
Hey, this might not even make my top 50 of mafia movies.
Okay, it's gonna make top 50. I don't even know if I can name 50.
Well, I don't even know if I have 50 mafia movies.
I was like, come on now, that's a little
even
extra.
if I can't, I'm not even gonna put it in it. I'm like, oh, that's a mafia movie? Oh, I'm sorry, I put that under drama.
That's called
it's
petty.
A drama.
That's petty. That's
it's a petty. Drama only. This ain't no crime drama, bro. It's a drama. Straight drama.
I mean, I could see
ain't no crime that happened other than the DeMayo crime family was looking weak. Other than y'all let brother show up and make y'all look stupid. That's the real crime of this movie.
Hey.
The black man was winning.
I'm about to say, can that be a crime? The
crime family was looking weak.
Can that be a crime? Harold was stunting, like he was just shining on boys. That's all.
Harold was shining on boys.
Like he came through shining.
Hey,
y'all
they
tell
ought to
us,
be
man.
embarrassed, bro. They ought to be embarrassed of themselves.
Y'all tell us. Help me to show him the light. My folks who out there, I'm calling all my people out there who ain't seen The Sopranos, who watched it with a clear mind. All of y'all get in the comments and let folks know the movie ain't that bad. It is definitely not a top-notch mafia movie.
65% is good.
But that is a failing grade. If your teacher gave you a 65.
You should have. Hey, my original score after I watched it the first time was like 40%, bro. So you better.
Well, mine.
I'm glad I watched it twice.
Mine the first time was actually, I think mine may have been, probably a little lower too. But once I picked up the nuances, it helped a little better. It definitely helped. So that's why I got it at 80. But y'all tell us in the comments, man. Like, let us know how you feel. If you want to come for me because I ain't seen The Sopranos, you can do that too. I'm ready for it.
I read, know to watch the show.
And I'm gonna let you know I read comments and I read screen names. I'm coming for it. But definitely get in there. Let us know how you feel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you have not. Make sure to hit the bell so that way you know when we drop new videos. And man, also just make sure if you haven't already, check us out on Instagram, The Real For Real. Look for us on there. We got cool ways that we interact with the people who follow us. So by all means, look for us there. But for the Real For Real podcast, this is Isaiah and Kevin. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.